Hello, everyone. This is Teacher Sincere of Teacher Sincere's channel. Usually I say Sincere, but I decided to say Teacher Sincere this time. So, welcome once again. So, I am showing a picture here. This is from Beirut, Lebanon. This is the clock tower there. I don't have the reference in front of me, the name of the clock tower. I've forgotten it. But yeah, this is from Beirut, Lebanon. I have never been to the country, but I have had a student from there. One of my former students lives in a suburb of Beirut, Lebanon, and I'm going to call her Nancy um, because she's a Lebanese Christian, just like the Lebanese Christian singer Nancy Ashram, who's some of her singing I actually like. All right. Nancy is a nurse. And I taught her from like the latter part of 2021 into part of 2022. Um, she wanted me to help her to prepare and instruct her in preparation for the IELTS exam. The IELTS exam stands for International English Language Testing System. Okay, and it is a standardized exam for non-native speakers of English who want to either study at universities in Anglophone or English-speaking countries, or want to emigrate to English-speaking countries, or to also some employers require that their employees take the exam because maybe their company or their organization works internationally and has partners or clients from other countries. And as you know, or probably know, English is the international language of business. So it is important that in this case that employers want their employees to know the language or to be fluent in the language. So, but my student wanted to take the IELTS exam for immigration also, and also for employment. She lives in Beirut, Lebanon, and Lebanon has been under economic and political crisis for quite some time. Their currency collapsed a few years ago, and a lot of young people are leaving or trying to leave the country because they feel like there's no future there. And Nancy is one of them. Now, she's not young person like 20s. I don't know her exact age, but I'm thinking that she is probably at least in her early 30s. She is a wife and mother. She has at the time when I started teaching her, her son was 5 years old. So he's about six now, going on seven. Her son has a biblical name from the New Testament, one of the books of the New Testament. And Nancy was born Catholic, but probably Malachite Christian, but she converted to Orthodox Christianity because she wanted to marry an Orthodox Christian man. And in Orthodox Christianity, which is the oldest branch of Christianity, they are very strict about people marrying people who are not in their branch of the faith. So you cannot be in good standing in an Orthodox church, or generally, from my understanding, unless you marry someone else who is Orthodox. So that includes if you marry someone who is not of it's in another branch of Christianity. It's sort of frowned on. Okay, much less another religion. So she converted, and so Nancy called me. I can't recall if she was just a random student at the time when she called me, or if she made a reservation. But she called me, and at the first time she contacted me, she did not have her webcam on, so I could not see what she looked like. So maybe for the first three lessons, she did not turn her camera on, so I couldn't see her. And this is quite common with many Arab students, particularly on the Arabian Peninsula. Many of them, they will not turn on their camera. Now, her, I don't know if it was out of shyness or maybe she didn't feel she was presentable at the time, but maybe about the first three lessons, she didn't turn her camera on. And this doesn't bother me. It bothers some of my colleagues, but it doesn't bother me. And I sort of expected it when I got this position. There's some students from some cultures would be much more shyer than in others, or more camera shy. So Nancy, so I said, I worked with her, and she came first time, and then she called me back. She made reservation, and things went smoothly. She seemed nice enough. And then after a few lessons, she seemed to get very hasty and like she was, angry and short and kind of rude. And I was like, well, and I was kind of shocked. But then I said, well, I don't think it's me. I think it's her. I understand that she is going through a lot. And her, and she had told me previous to this that she had told me that when Beirut, there was the bombing in Beirut about 4 years ago in Beirut Harbor. The bombing had damaged the hospital where she worked and actually killed some of her colleagues. Of course, they were going through economic problems. Her family was. She had gone from making about $2,000 a month to only $200 a month. And then she had dropped even lower. Eventually, as time went on, she dropped even lower to $180 a month. Her husband had lost his job, and so she was the sole breadwinner. Okay. Eventually, though, he did started working from home, and he also was taking care of their young son. I did meet her son on the webcam. I met him. He's a sweet little boy, brown curls, just totally adorable, so cute. And I also met her sister. Her sister was visiting, and she introduced me to her sister. But she wanted to move to the United States. They want to move because of the situation in Lebanon, and also her mother and sister had already moved here and are living in Arizona. And Nancy had gotten to where, she got to where she was kind of short maybe about 2 lessons. She was really hasty, kind of rude. And I was thinking, maybe she needs to, I'm kind of hoping this lady doesn't come back. And finally, one day I just sort of snapped, but not in a, bad way. And, but I just told her I said, look, Nancy, I said, look, I said, you need to calm down, and you're going to lose the battle with this, and unless you get your emotions under control. Okay, I said, you can't afford to. I said, you need to. You can't afford. You don't need to keep taking the exam over and over again. You need to do what you need to do and calm yourself down, so that you can try to do well on the exam. Try to get your emotions under control. Get yourself under control. And I just said, okay, I'm taking the risk of this because she might not come back, and that's okay. I've lost a student, but others can replace her. If she can't take the truth, well, so be it. But but I don't want to have to tolerate this rude behavior. So but unexpectedly, she she took it in a good way. It didn't bother her. She told me, you know, my husband says I'm too emotional. I'm overly emotional, and that I need to calm down. He often says this, she said, I will cry and cry and cry. And he will be like, why are you crying? And she said, yes, I do need to calm down. And then she told me something that really was so touching. She said, you're like a big sister to me. And I just was so touched. I didn't know what to say. I thought it was so nice. So I continued to teach her for like another 4 months, and I felt that she needed more time to prepare, longer than the 4 months actually. But I felt like, well, she's an adult; she has to make her own decisions. But it's not a good thing if she has to keep taking this exam over and over. And financially, it wasn't good because when her salary dropped down to $180 a month, that's actually lower than what the cost to pay the fees for the exam. So we continued to study together, and then she decided after 4 months that she was going to go ahead and take the exam. She had registered for it, and she was going to take it. And so I told her, okay, please let me know how your results go. And she promised that she would. She had asked me, she had my Facebook, because she friended me on Facebook, but I told her I can't send you the link because the rules on Cambly is that we can't share the links of our social media with our students. So I told her there is a way to get around it, though. I said, you can, I said, I gave her my last name and told her you can look for me on Facebook because there's not many sinceres on there. Okay. So she sent me the friend request, and so we could stay in contact that way. So she took the exam, and she contacted me after she took it, and she told me that she still had not got her score up to where she wanted it, where she needed to be. So she was going to come back and renew her subscription and come back to me. She asked me if I was still teaching on campus. I said, yeah. I said, they can't get rid of me. I said, only way they'll have to throw me out to get rid of me. So she she renewed her subscription and came back, and I continued to teach her. And then one day, I can't recall what the question was. We were doing some speaking questions for the exam in preparation for the examination, and I can't recall, like I said, what the question was, but her answer was this, something to this effect. She said, well, I can't get pregnant again for 5 years because I'm getting treatment for leukemia, and this is what they told me to not get pregnant during the time that I'm getting the treatment. And I was just astonished. I thought, yeah, is she making this up? Is it possible? You know, and I asked her, I said, Nancy, do you have leukemia? Is that what you're telling me? And she said, yes. And she just was stony faced and she emotionless. And I know I didn't look at myself on the webcam because I can see both myself and my student. But I'm sure I looked very sad. And so, we were silent a few seconds. And then I said, but you don't want me to feel sorry for you, do you? She said, no. And that no was just so powerful because I was thinking, I thought about so often in the culture that I'm in, people want people to feel sorry for them. And this woman is facing so much, and she has a young child. She's married. She has a young child that adores her. Um, First thing I thought about when I learned that she had leukemia was her son, because she had I had seen her a few times. The little boy was just hugging her, holding on to her, and he just adores his mother. And I just I didn't know what to say. This was really a load to carry. And then she told me that the medicine for her treatment is not available in Lebanon. That it costs $15,000 a month, and that her mother and her sister are paying for it here in the United States. And they send the medicine, they ship it to Lebanon. And I just thought that was so great. The other week I saw a video, a report about Lebanese people that have left Lebanon and how they are sending back money to their relatives in the country who are can't leave, and how much how the Lebanese community is doing it, how they really are supporting people back home. And I thought about, this is so great, and I wish so much that African Americans could take on this way of doing things and thinking. And I was just so inspired by her resilience, because I wonder a lot about people in the Middle East, where there's so much turmoil in some of these countries, and these countries are often being attacked and being manipulated by outside forces. And I did a little bit of research a few years ago, and I looked up about the suicide rate in places like among the Palestinians in particular, um, and the rate is very very low, very very low. Now in my country, some people just committed suicide at the drop of a hat. And during the COVID era that we went through for 3 years, during the lockdown, I heard about young people and teenagers here in the West, here in the United States, who committed suicide because they couldn't deal with the lockdowns. And I thought it was so sad because I'm like, this will pass. This is not going to go on forever. It will pass. This too shall pass. But before they had an opportunity to live through it and come out the other side, they took their life. And you don't have this in places, a lot of these places that are going through, where people really face and endure a lot of hardship. So, she didn't want me to feel sorry for her. And so she went on to take the exam again. And I told her once again to please contact me and let me know how you do. So she did. And she let me know that she did bring up her score this time, sufficient to what they wanted her to have it for immigration and I guess for nursing here in the United States. So she had another test she was facing that she had told me about that she was studying for. It was a nursing exam that you have to take here in the United States. I don't know much about it. But I assume it's an exam that say foreign people have to take it. They want to work in the medical system here in the United States. It's one of the steps that they have to take. So so she told me near the end of last year that she was going to come here. She was going to go to Arizona where her mother and her sister live, and she was going to take the exam. That she was going to come. It was her and her son were going to come. So and I think I mentioned to you that her husband had lost his job, but then he started working from home. But anyway, let's get back. I want to get back on track because I don't want to make this overly long. But anyway, she was coming back in December. I wrote to her and asked her, wished her Merry Christmas for her and her family. But I look back now, it was the wrong Christmas because she's Orthodox and it wouldn't have been in December. It would have been in January, January the 7th. Orthodox Christian, they're on a different calendar than the calendar that Western Christianity uses. So picked the wrong Christmas, but it was upcoming. So I did not hear from her until beginning of this month. And I was thinking, I think about her and I wonder, has she died or was she getting cancer treatment or, treatment for leukemia? What was happening? And I heard from her beginning of this month, and she messaged me and told me that I'm sorry. She apologized. I'm sorry that I did not contact you sooner. And she told me that they were having problems with the internet in Lebanon. But she told me that she had passed the nursing exam, and then she hit me with some other great news that she also has a master's degree. Now she hadn't told me she was studying for a master's degree. I knew about IELTS, of course, because I was teaching her, helping her to prepare for that. I knew about the nursing exam, but I did not know that she was working on getting a master's degree. So I was just overwhelmed and astonished and so pleased for her. This woman has so much on her plate, so much hanging over her head. She has a major serious illness. And she took all of these exams. She is a working mother. She has a young child. She's married. She's in a country in crisis. She doesn't know what their future is. All she can hope for is the best for their future. All of that. And she did all of this. And so often those of us that don't face anything like this, not even an iota of what she faced, we complain and we can't deal with it and we lose our minds and all of that, and we make the lives of the people around us absolutely miserable because we cannot get control of, we don't know how to survive in the tough times, because the tough times will come. I think people fool themselves when, oh, we should have a soft life and everything should be good. No, soft life, constant softness makes people weak. And I'm not saying I'm the strongest person, but I've been through a lot. Not to the degree she has, not to the degree that some people have, but it has not been easy. It's been really, really hard. But I think people like Nancy do so well under fire, walking through the fire, the trial by fire, because I've noticed in these countries, I think what it is that if you are a person that has a strong identity, you know your history, you know yourself, you have a purpose. See, a lot of people don't have a purpose. A lot of people don't know who they are, or they're in confusion. A lot of people feel entitled to a very easy life. And sometimes the rain is going to fall. And what kind of armor do you have? Is your armor so flimsy that the first arrow that comes, you're gone, that you've been taken out? Or are you out there really with the tough armor and you're fighting it through? She has tough armor and she has a backbone. She's not a jellyfish. She has a backbone. And I just really applaud her. And I told her when she messaged me, I said, I said, you're such an inspiring person. And I'm so proud of you. I really am. She always tells me when she messages me or when I write to her that she misses me. Every time she says it. I really wish the best for Nancy and her family. And I'm so glad that I was able to meet her. Not face to face, who knows, maybe one day, God willing, I'll be able to meet her face to face. If they move here to the United States, or who knows, I don't know, Lebanon, I don't know. But we don't know. With life, you have to just take everything day by day. I don't do much planning ahead. I don't say, oh, I want to be this way 5 years from now. I want things to be this way. You never know. I mean, I'm sure she did not. She did not plan for cancer. Mm-mm. Cancer happens. I mean, not cancer. Leukemia. Leukemia happens. But she had the armor on to keep her going. So it's a lot of things uh, we can't plan for. A lot of obstacles come. There's tragedy. There's hardship. And in this world, I don't care what era you live in, and whether it's now or ever, but you have to be strong. And you can't go through life feeling entitled or feeling sorry for yourself and saying, woe is me. Why me? And I think, like I said, these people in these areas do so well. In these crisis areas like Iraq and Lebanon and Palestine and Gaza and Syria, because when you have a foundation and you know who you are and you know your purpose and you have family, we shouldn't just need people so much, but when you have family there for you to be your parachute, to be your net to catch you, people that have, that, I hate to say have faith, because you should only have faith in God, but people that believe that you are capable, that you can make it through. This is what helped these people keep going, I believe. So I'm going to end it here. You get the idea, I hope, of what I'm trying to convey here. And I really wish the best for Nancy and her family. And I'm so honored to have taught her. And it's amazing the twist of it, because at first, after about 3 lessons, when she was losing it, I was like, I want this woman to go. And it turned out, it's amazing how things can turn out, how they can flip. Life is hard, but life is also astonishing, fascinating, amazing. Nothing good is ever easy. And like my mother said in the past to me, and I really now value what she said. And what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. So I hope you enjoyed this video. and was inspired by it and learned something new. So this is Sincere Ray. Until next time.